I'm going to begin by talking about the importance of the music in this film, and not just the music in this film, but the music to what it meant to slaves when they and having that voice and what it meant, because it feels like it's not the leading theme in this movie, but there's a real kind of musical undercurrent to this that I thought really enriched the story.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was a very sophisticated form of communication, but it was incredibly misunderstood. So it was over the heads of the overseers and the slave owners, that the slaves would sing in the fields, and their white overseers and slave owners would think that they were happy, you know. But actually, it's very sophisticated communication, and there were messages in the songs. And so, "Go Down, Moses" was Harriet's message to the enslaved people that she was there and that they should run. And specific verses would be coded to mean like, "Not right now, there's danger," or "Yes, right now," you know. So it's really quite wonderful, you know. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I mean, shoot's obviously hard, and you know, when you're making a movie. But how much would you say, driven by the protagonist inner strength? Because when you're dealing with a character like this, who will stop at nothing, and the most so admirable in so many ways, does that sort of infect the kind of whole casting crew, you think, when making a movie?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it all the time. You know, I am not one that likes the woods at night. You know, it's not really like natural to me. But you know, we said to ourselves about everything, not just the physical hardship of being, you know, in the elements, but about because it was a hard movie to make just to get through it on such a tight schedule in an economy of means. But we would say to ourselves, you know, would Harriet think this was hard? And it became kind of a mantra, you know. Would Harriet think this was hard? Because we could put on coats and get in warm cars, and when you really started to think about what those people went through, and that's why it's so important what they were willing to go through for freedom, being pursued and being in the elements and having run sometimes with exactly what they had on that day, often barefoot, you know. It's really quite amazing, and that she did that and then went back, you know, by herself and did it again and again.
Yeah, I mean, during the making of the movie, was there anything you really wanted to ask Harriet?
I asked her all the time. I felt like I was asking her things all the time. Yes, there were several things. Sometimes the answer would be clear to me, and sometimes I really wish I could ask her. Her last words were, "I go to prepare a place for you." And sometimes I want to say, did you really say that? Were you really that incredible that your last words were, "I go to prepare a place for you"? That's just, I mean, she's become my patron saint.
I'd be pretty pleased if my last words were anything as profound as that.
You know, can you imagine?
I doubt it.
Wow.
Because I mean, obviously, Cynthia was incredible in the lead role, but when her casting was announced, there was a little bit of a backlash about her being British in such an American story. And I think David Oyelowo had to go through a similar thing when he played Martin Luther King. What was your thoughts when you heard of that backlash? And do you think it made her and yourself more kind of determined to succeed and prove those doubters wrong?
No, I mean, I think that we were very determined from the beginning. You know, obviously we were aware that somebody might say something, but I think it was all about determination. It's like, if we're really, really focused on trying to bring her, and if we're really trying to channel her together, and the result is Harriet is before you, then we've done our job, you know. And I guess the point is that I believed her, and I believed her every day. You know, I know Cynthia, and there are times when I watch the movie and I'm watching scenes and I can't find her. I see Harriet.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks very much, guys.